In a world that is so competitive, it's very important to be confident and to look good. Stay tuned for more. We've got an expert that can talk all about it. Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. Again, I am one of the most blessed humans on the planet where I get to work with and interview innovators, business people who have taken the leap and started something unique, something new, and followed a path that's impacting our little planet. With that, I would like to introduce our guest here today, Tom Rector. He's the owner and founder of Eunoia Barber. EunoiaBarber.pro. Grow, thrive, inspire. He's got his hat there, and we put it up here on the screen. Some inspiring stuff going on here. I like it. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on here, Tom.
So I don't cut hair. I help people. So sorry, Cowboy. This is you edit this, right? Like cut stuff out.
We can, yeah.
Okay. I don't cut hair. I help people elevate their standard and how they show up when it matters.
Yeah, so often is the case that people, they don't have the confidence going in because they feel they don't look like they should be there. And so you're helping people say, I'm not going to cut your hair. I'm going to make you look the part and help you get that confidence to lead their path they're on. Does that help? That's kind of what you're helping people do here?
It does. It is. Let's see. I'm so sorry, Cowboy. Let's see. Yeah, Eunoia is Greek for a well and balanced mind. And I've been through a lot of adversity and been able to grow through the challenges. And that's what the brand's about.
Okay. Well, with that, we would like to give a shout out to our sponsors. We're going to give a shout out to Carroll House Furniture because you like nice things in your little castle where you hopefully have built a reputation, some confidence, and you look good. And so with that, we want to then highlight our leader who is here in studio with us and show off great looking Facebook page, beautiful looking website. We're going to go over that a little bit too. But well, let's start off here and tell me why did you decide to, after years of trying different things, do you believe you landed here?
When I started this job, it was just my next job. I was just looking for the next thing. But what I found was a passion and that I had a dangerous business mindset.
A dangerous business mindset, meaning you kind of understood, you felt you had carved out kind of a niche to where you could make an impact.
I always saw the ways or the frameworks for improvement. And that's something, let's see. Yeah, I always saw the frameworks for improvement. And I always saw the ways that you could do things better.
Well, yeah, that's the key to success on this little planet is constantly improve, constantly do better. And get to where you're going to the next level and to the next level. How long have you been doing this now? You said, I've got on the screen, it says 15 years. Where does this start from? Does it go back further than that? 15 years, though, hardcore in the industry here?
It starts 15 years ago in Florissant. There's a little barbershop in Florissant. It's closed now. But when I started there, they had pictures of it on the wall back in 1902. And the owner had moved from the general store across the street in 1888, making this the oldest barbershop in the United States still in operation. It's closed now, but that's where it all started.
Wow, okay, so when did it close? How long ago was it?
I think it's just in the last year or two that it's closed.
Oh, wow, what a legacy there that finally come to an end. But you're picking up from there, and you've decided to take this and run with it. What is it that kind of got you going here to where you felt like this is the path you wanted to go on?
What's different about my brand is that I've developed a full stack solution for professionals, and we don't just have online scheduling. We have chatbots at the website that diagnose your hair and skin through a series of questions, and then expertly recommend products that I carry. And it's not just shampoo, it's not just conditioner, it's not just hairstyling. I have full skincare regimens. We have some of the I'm so sorry.
Some of the best, you know.
Let's see. We've got some of the most recent advances in science at Eunoia Barber Collective. This is a 6-treatment hair regrowth system.
Oh, wow, okay. 6 treatments, and then you can start to see some results from people like myself who got a little bit we're losing back there.
With this product, the products that were on the market before this, in terms of stem cell derivative hair regrowth programs, were about $2,500 to the client. This one's $360. 6 treatments.
And that's the total cost?
That's the total cost. It typically takes 6 treatments to start seeing results, and I think it takes around 12 treatments for guys to see all the benefit.
And they'll go from where they've had some major hair loss to where they've got hair.
Absolutely. This is a revolutionary product because it provides similar results to minoxidil and finasteride.
Interesting. Okay, so now we've got some real high-tech stuff we're talking about here. You're on the cutting edge, doing your research to find the products that are impacting. And boy, talk about impacting the confidence of somebody. Some of us guys, some guys just say, forget it, and they just start shaving the whole thing. But other guys say, hey, and they look good, don't get me wrong, whatever, those guys do their thing. But some guys, that's disheartening to them, especially if they were young and they had a full head of hair. You've got a solution here that you've done the research and found something that really works.
And it works great for guys that start it early.
Okay, so there you go. And how many of us are in that category? I can tell you, I've got a little bit back here, but we keep that off camera, right? But all right, tell me, 15 years doing this. Do you have a team? You've got some guys who work with you there. Tell me a little about your shop and what you've got going on there.
So it's just me in my studio. But because of the operation that we run, I have an operations manager. I've got a video editor. We're stepping out into another location this year, but next year we're stepping out into retail space.
Okay. And so you're looking to expand, and you've got the team put together to do
We'll be looking for other hair professionals in St. Louis to line up with.
Well, it looks like you've put together, I mean, if you look at all the way, once you start seeing the website and the social media here that Tom has put together, they really are on the ball and have done a great job to build that up. What is it about this ultimately that you would say fuels your passion that causes this to be such a strong message that you want to convey and how you want to help people?
I'm huge on personal, professional, and spiritual development. And that's what's driven me to market my business to the top of the St. Louis to the top of the St. Louis market.
Yeah, well, I say if you've got the ambition, you've got the drive, you've willing to put the work in. It sounds like you got a good message too, because anything that doesn't have a strong message that it's empowering and helping other people will ultimately fall on its face. But obviously, you have spent the time to develop your plan and put something together here that has really began to impact the community here and gotten you noticed and on the A list. Is that right?
So we were a contender a couple of years ago, and we're a contender again this year. So if you want to vote for Eunoia Barber Collective, you can hit the voting rounds here in a couple of months.
That's cool. Just to be selected to be on that is put you into an elite crowd, and a lot that you're doing to make a little impact on our planet. But as a matter of the function for this, that where you decided this was something you could really impact people, when did this first kind of key in for you that you saw that you could help people through inspiring, as we talked about here, I'll put up again, grow, thrive, and inspire. How did that tie into this?
So I've been through a lot of trauma. Let's see, I've been through a lot in life, and I've been able to overcome the challenges of, say, for example, war, prison, PTSD, homelessness. And it was through, when I learned the frameworks to implement change in your life, that's what changed everything for me. And that's what we grow on, that's what we thrive on, and that's what we inspire with.
Wow, yeah, so somebody who's been through, a lot of us have been through, people know my story, I was hit by a drunk driver, and on my path, my coach later told me that I had what it took to be a professional baseball player. I joke now that I could have been a former pro, retired, broke baseball player, but instead God had a different plan for me. I learned a lot from that and had to push through a lot of adversity. Sounds like you've been through quite a bit too. Tell me a little bit about, you mentioned a few things that were kind of like, wow, really, with regard to those. Tell me how those things helped you to overcome and develop the confidence where you're at now.
So let's see, one of the biggest challenges I ever faced was going through 20 years of anxiety and depression. And I made the choice early on not to take medication, but to implement any other framework that I could to get relief. And 20 years later, I wound up with a framework that I apply to my life that completely eliminates and eradicates anxiety and depression. And it's a lifestyle. It's just a healthy lifestyle choice.
Okay, now we're talking. These are things that can really impact a lot of people. We want to learn more about this. What are some of the strategies you've used? What are some of the developed? People get to learn this from you. They become a client of yours. They can come to your shop and learn a little bit? Tell me how this is implemented.
Well, this is actually something that I'm excited to develop into a digital product over the next couple of years. I want to retire from barbering, and that's how I want to retire. But the framework for me for fighting my anxiety and depression, it starts with diet, sleep, and exercise, and then we add a few other things like supplementation, prayer, meditation, and those are the pillars. And when you live your lifestyle like that, for me, it's been able to keep my severe and clinical things completely at bay.
Wow, yeah. So then going through sounds like some trauma, some traumatic events you've been through in your life, but taking that positive approach and mentally lining yourself up. But you got to have the nutrition, you got to sleep. You mentioned a few things there that are important for people. And tell me how these all keyed in for you, that where you realized this is the path you needed to go. These are the components that were so important to what you were trying to accomplish.
These are the components to living a high performance lifestyle. If you're not putting yourself and your needs in the calendar first, you're not serving anybody else.
Okay. So yeah, obviously there's a lot that goes into being successful on this planet, but you got to start at the base. If you were to say, if somebody was to look at what you're talking about here, what's the first most elementary base level thing that someone's got to take under control?
I think you have to acknowledge that the change needs to take place. I think you have to accept that to move into it.
That makes sense, because there's so many people that just, oh, there's not a problem. It's not my fault. It was somebody else. It was something else going on. And by doing that, they're foregoing the option to take responsibility and then start the path. And once they've started the path, what is next step for them?
The next part of the path is to make the plan. Like, what do you need to change? And so for me, when I plan out my goals or when I plan out my projects, the first thing I have to determine is, what are the gaps? What am I missing? What's going to prevent me from achieving this goal? And I have to fill the gap as well. But come up with the plan and start putting the steps in play.
And you've got a plan that looks like it has worked very effectively for you, and you're saying this is a plan you'll offer to people. Say, hey, this is a method you can use. Hey, maybe the cowboy can learn from this. Maybe we can join a little bit of our forces here. But yeah, I mean, so much I see people, they struggle because they don't believe in themselves. They don't have the confidence.
That's right.
And then they don't think they're going to do it. So they're not willing to take the step. And the hardest part is taking the first step. Once you've taken the first step, everybody, now you're on that path. That's the hardest part, I believe, is getting started. Now, once somebody's gotten started, like you said, admit there's a problem, admit there's something they need to change, and then make that first step, and then take it from there. What do you proceed to say people should go for next?
I really like that you said that you had to overcome yourself first, because in most instances we are the one that limit our own growth. We convince ourselves that we can't do it or it's not possible.
Yeah. Wow, we're hitting on a lot of the keys for what I've been fortunate or we all go through difficult situations, so I don't want to ever allow myself to be portrayed as any kind of a victim, because the mentality right there starts off with the wrong path. But yeah, if you can take that leap to insert yourself in a situation, be around the right people, get the right rest, the right food, and have that right mentality, this is something you can do, anybody can do, to really get their life on path and go anywhere they want to.
That's right.
Well, we like the idea here, and this is a good message here that Tom brings to the table. How did you come up? Tell me a little bit about that name. You mentioned the name there, and but Greek, and that makes sense. Well, tell me a little bit more about that.
Eunoia is Greek for a well and balanced mind, and in trying to choose names for a barbershop, nothing really fit my brand. And I saw this name on a restaurant in the Philippines, and when I learned what it meant, I thought it was perfect. But for me, it means transformation.
Transformation. That's what many people need. Almost all of us are going to go through some point in our life where we're going to need a form of transformation. A lot of people have said wonderful things about you. You've got some great reviews here. 4.9, 67 reviews. It's not a 4.9 with 7 reviews. It's 67 reviews, everybody. I'm going to put this up on the wall. Take a look here at some of the success and some of what people have had to say about Tom and his work. Tom has been cutting my hair for 3 weeks, and a year and a half. He takes his time, 45 minutes, and is very meticulous and a perfectionist. At the beginning of each appointment, he asked me if I was happy with the last cut and if I have anything we do different for today's haircut. I appreciate the hair wash and the initial cut, and makes tweaks needed afterwards. Next shavings, I will always, I'll never use another barber. Well, you've developed some fan base here. You've got some people that are very supportive of you. How's it make you feel to get 4.9 reviews on your Google reviews?
I don't like to toot my own horn, but when I look at my reviews, what I look at is the quality of the reviews. Even though I've only got 67 reviews, my reviews don't say good haircut. They don't say good barber. So that was the goal, and I've hit the mark.
There you go, and set those goals high and go after it. And Tom has done a great job with that. Well, you've done so much in our little corner of the world here, and especially after somebody who's been through as much as you've been through. Is there any one message that you would advocate that people start off with to help them to get on this path?
Make the choice. Make the choice that something in your life has to change, and decide how you're going to change it and commit to that.
Well said. Leads perfectly into what we're going to jump into. We've got a community leader, Will Be Inspired. Will has started his own organization. It's doing incredible things. Ties into what we're talking about here. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Will Bates, everybody. Will Be Inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yeah.
How many people turn out for this thing so far?
Oh, there'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that.
Yeah,
It's
I
not worth it.
appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Giddy up. We'll see you guys. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. By now, we are on ABC 5 times a week. So many businesses are loving what we're doing to help them get their name out there. We'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you, and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. Takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Professional video on your website closes more sales by instantly building trust. clearly explaining complex products and keeping visitors engaged longer, reducing bounce rate by 34%. It'll help you to gain that credibility, increase engagement, simplify complex tasks, lower your sales friction, and boost your rankings on the search engine. So this is all kind of a no-brainer. See how we've now had over 500 interviews and now almost 250 different business owners. Go to bigleagues.com. That's BIGGLEAGUES.com. Go to bigleagues.com and get signed up. You can schedule right from there. So there we have it, everybody, and just right up the same. We're shooting down the same alley here with trying to make an impact and inspire other people. But let's do a little analysis here. Normally this is a case of, well, somebody wants to fix their own roof, or somebody wants to install their own, faucet. Here we're talking about the impact somebody might or might not take to change their life if they don't have their perspective online here. But it starts with where you can help at the beginning to look professional and get that professional haircut. I don't know how often my dad would see somebody on TV, it would be funny and say, that guy needs a haircut. But you get to help start off there and then tell me where it goes from there and why people should choose this path, whether you guide them or they just decide to do this on their own.
And so the benefit of choosing my company, I think I can say that in 2021, the year after COVID, I did more wedding haircuts and I got more guys that were willing to pay my price and go outside of their original barber when it mattered the most.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people there. That's a big day for a lot of guys, and they want to look the best they can. And so that's where it starts. And that you provide them the cut that looks the picture they're going to have for the rest of their lives. They're going to look at that photo album, right? And they want to be able to present that and say, yeah, by the way, my buddy Tom did that with his barbershop there. Where are you based out of? Where's your barber located?
And so we're at Salons by JC, Town and Country.
Town and Country. Eunoia Barber Collective, doing great things here. Grow, thrive, inspire. Eunoia, look that up on the screen there. EUNOIA Barber.pro. I like that. And that can get you at 314-441-5410. Obviously, you have taken some time to sort this out. What do you think some of the benefits? What somebody chooses for you to become their barber and all of what you're offering here? What are some of the reasons people should do so?
We operate at a higher standard. No other barbershop or salon in St. Louis has a product sales program like we've got. No other barbershop or salon in St. Louis is as involved with the client as we are. Let's see. Sorry, Cowboy.
No, you keep. But yeah, I mean, it seems like you've really outlined a plan, a platform here, and just to really to go out of the way, not just to get somebody their haircut, but to help them kind of get their path forward into making their life, reaching their goals and dreams.
We've developed a full stack solution for professionals in St. Louis, not only to get their hair care and their skin care products taken care of, but a place to level up as a professional.
Yeah, there we go. I like that, to level up as a professional. Write that one down. That's why we got the pencil here, everybody. Because how often do we have just taking it one step higher, being professional? That's what people really want. My dad wrote a script about being the professional, and then he found a spelling error in it later. But so he said, "Hey, being the professional. These are the things that have to go forward."
I want to leave you with a gift. In 15 years, this is the most luxurious shaving cream I've ever come across. This is Kuhn. They've been around for about 100 years in the salon industry.
All right.
You've probably not heard about them, but this is, like I say, this is some of the most luxurious shaving cream I've ever had.
Well, I do shave, as you can tell, so this is something that will help me with that and to keep me on that path, too.
And a Grow, Thrive, Inspire shirt and hat, Cowboy.
Oh, no, I'll wear these both. Yeah, I wear T-shirts all the time when I'm not doing my thing, but it sounds like you've got a whole collective here now. You've got apparel, and you've got for promotional materials. You've got some of the best products that people could find on the planet. Tell me a little bit about your experience, and that you had to get your license, a barber's license in the state of Missouri, and just with all the experience you've gained, what that's kind of the advantage that gives you.
So let's see. I started in Florissant. I started in the county. We were doing $12 haircuts, and I was working for somebody that was afraid to professionally develop, and I saw the guys in the business district that were making double the money. And so I stepped out on my own. I built my own website, my own business listings, my own social media pages. I even wrote my own Google Ads. And in learning how to do all of that, when I pressed the button, that's when everything launched. It was like, you just couldn't stop me after that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, you're really on that path. When you're doing your own Google ads, then you're really on the ball, because that's something that I've had companies pay me 6 figures per month to do, because there's a lot that goes into that, and it's just is so detailed. But once you kind of establish that and you can take that on, now you're going to be above the rest there too, because there's so much. Most people don't even understand how Google works.
Some of the other things that set me apart. I've been a guest educator at institutions like Paul Mitchell, the school,
Wow.
Salon Professional Academy. I've owned luxury salons in America's richest zip codes where we did hair, skin, and nail services for men and women. I hold the actual master barber designation from the American Barber Association.
Wow, so you've got quite the accolades to go along with this. And all of that because you just decided to make a decision. You had an event that happened to you, was that 2014? And you said, hey,
2014.
turning my path away from what led you, and many people deal with that, and it had to do with, I guess, some alcohol involved. But you say, hey, not where I want to spend the rest of my time, and focused on and getting these awards. Paul Mitchell, everybody knows Paul Mitchell. That's one of the best hair products, some of the best hair products in the world from there. Is that true?
Paul Mitchell is one of the better institutions of higher learning for cosmetology in the world.
There we go. So much more than I'm even offering there, but yeah, there you go. They do more than I realized. Well, tell me then, as a small business owner, somebody who's kind of setting the bar and exceeding and doing better, what are some of the benefits of working with a small business owner like yourself?
When you work with a small business owner like myself, your money goes back into the community. It doesn't go to corporations. Let's see, some of the other benefits of working with a small business. You caught me on that one, Cowboy.
Well, I mean, I think you bring a lot to the table, because you're not just offering, hey, here's your haircut and get out of here. I don't have any ownership rights here. I don't have any real reason to improve. Because you are the owner, because you are the small business guy, you can say, here's some things I'm going to go beyond. I'm going to improve an exception.
I'm far more invested in the client's experience, outcome, and time than, say, corporations like Great Clips, where you get a 15-minute haircut with just clippers.
Yeah, and those are wonderful companies that do their job, but if you want to but those aren't the owners you're talking to when you go in there, and you've got the ability to say, hey, let me give you some other tips beyond what you do here, and help them to do more than just the basics, but also that mentality, and be able to improve people to keep focused on their long-term goals too.
That's right.
Looks like you've got a lot more to offer here than just about anybody might expect. If you could narrow it down to just one or two, and we'll finish up here. We got about a minute left for this first half hour. I'm gonna have Tom stick around for another. Very rarely do you get people of Tom's background and ability here to we get to share. So I'm gonna have you stick around for another half an hour if that's okay.
Okay.
But what's the biggest mistake you often see people make? We got about 30 seconds left.
In terms of
just when they're deciding to make a change in their life. Now it may revolve around how they're going to improve their outward look. And they start there, but what are some of the biggest mistakes people make?
I think it takes daily focus, and I think it takes daily planning. I think you have to keep that.
Okay, so if you're willing to put that plan in place, accept the fact that you've got something you need to work on, we talked about, and then take the steps long term, you can get there. Consistency, right? Consistently persist. Consistently persist. Is that an oxymoron? Is it? But put those two together, and you can make an impact on our little plan. Well, Tom has done some incredible stuff. We appreciate him taking some time to sit down with us. And if you're looking for somebody that can guide you a little bit, not just in the way you look, but help you to get your path in life on track, we've got somebody here. Stick around. We'll have Tom here back in just a minute. We're going to record our second interview. All these will be viewable on our YouTube channel. Stay tuned.